I, James, founded and work for HPI, but do not represent them or any of their opinions.
Welcome to Season 9, Episode 322 of the Furlo Bros Tech Podcast. Every week, we definitively answer one question about the future of tech. To do that, we take into account many factors, including the companies involved, the people working for them, their marketing campaigns, and of course, the technology they're developing. I'm Matthew Dean Furlo, and consuming electronic shows is my brother, James Furlo.
Yeah, we're just coming off of CES. Man, it was work going through all the summary articles to find out what was actually happening.
yeah. It's such an onslaught, especially in Gadget Man. They do a lot of articles, and it's overwhelming.
It's interesting. Like each year, there's one who seems to take it more seriously than the others.
Yeah, and Gadget's been pretty good the last couple of years, taking it pretty seriously. If you want the fire hydrant without going, and Gadget has been.
They got your back.
Yeah,
it's nice.
They go to town.
You get a sense like The Verge, like man, there was a couple years there where they were on it,
right?
And now they're just upset with life in general, which I think affects the show and their coverage. And then TechCrunch, they just I don't know, they're owned by a bigger company, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Who are we trying to impress?
Yeah. We already got our paydays. Yeah.
So I think one of the temptation here is to go with what's the best of CES, but I don't think we want to frame it in that context. So do we want to frame what we're talking about here?
My favorite.
All right, cool. The things that stood out to me. What stood out to you most, Jay?
Well, we're gonna do highs and lows. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily like the most important of everything. This is just
I hope not.
You and me personally. Well, I think the big tech companies try to get there.
This is like for me. I was like, if I had the money, I would buy this.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
And I try to find out if I had the money, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I'm going to start with one that you didn't include, and I don't know why, because this is like right up your alley. So I thought this was big. So they announced it during CES. Kodak is going to have a cryptocurrency.
No, this is your low, right?
I think you see, I think this was really poorly reported. I had to read about this a couple of different ways to see if this is actually what I think it is. I think it's really smart. I think it's really smart in the context of it's precisely what you predicted would happen this year.
Oh.
They're building the blockchain into how they do into their photographs so they can keep track of who has a copy of a photograph.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. They also announced a Bitcoin mining machine.
Yeah, well, that's,
And that's what I was like, no, why would I
mean, say that's not why their stock jumped. Their stock jumped because one of the cool things about Bitcoin
Yes. That one, I'm with you. Yes.
Yeah. Because one of the big issues on the internet is how do you if you sell a photograph, that photograph can be copied and pasted to anybody infinitely. How do you verify if somebody actually paid for it or not? And it's a difficult thing to do. And what they're trying to set up, it sounds like, is a system whereby anybody can scour the internet for photos that are they can, if it's got the digital signature, they can look at this photo and then backtrack and say, did this person who's hosting this website on or this picture on their website, did they actually pay for it? So it allows the entire world community to effectively police content and to make sure that people are paying for it, which is huge. If that actually works, it's game changing.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, it's the first time that Kodak's done something in the digital age that seems to be relevant. So that's exciting.
There's that.
I don't know. I thought that was, to me, it's funny.
This is funny. The one on my list, I'm surprised that you didn't bring up. We're just looking out for each other.
I got you.
Interesting. Yeah. So mine was the I can't even pronounce her name. The Vuzix.
Yeah.
Vuzix Blade AR glasses.
What?
Yeah, it's the way that the Verge, who I made fun of earlier, now I'm going to reference, the way they put it, they were like, it's what we hoped Google Glass would be, where it's actually a pair of glasses, and they're projecting a tiny little screen onto your lens, and it's not super huge or bulky. And if you didn't know any better, you might be like, oh, those are very hipster-esque, but I'll buy it, in the sense that they're sunglasses or regular glasses, I guess. And they were saying that it has a lot of the same functionality that Google Glass had, where you can pull up calendars and emails and alerts and blah, blah, blah. There were a couple games that you could play with it. They were saying the screen size was of a decent size. It didn't totally impede your view. You can take pictures and video, things like that. They didn't mention anything about battery life or things like that. They are coming out with a developer version for $2,000, but that means you actually get two pairs, because the consumer versions due out later this year, and that'll be for $1,000.
Okay.
Which, for a pair of smart AR glasses, that feels like a reasonable amount of money to start with.
So
I'm not going to buy until they're $250, but
I struggle with. I get why you call this artificial reality, augmented reality.
Yeah.
But there's this problem, and this is my thing.
I mean, that's not really what it is.
I know it's a heads-up display.
Yeah, there you go. It's sunglasses HUD.
Yeah, which is okay. I mean, and I'm gonna
okay. That's good.
Because I
think it's great.
See, my problem is that I'm comparing this to what they did with what HTC did with the Vive Pro, and we're just like, we're gonna up the ante even further on graphics and smoothness, and I don't know. I just, you make a big announcement.
I don't know.
It's just, I don't know. It seems I don't want to rain on your parade since this is your highlight, but it's kind of, it's just a little screen in the glasses.
Dude, that's a big deal. Are you kidding me? That's like saying about your watch, it's just a little screen on your wrist.
Yeah, but I already have that little screen on my wrist.
Okay. And my point is, eventually you're going to have that little screen on your glasses too.
Yeah, maybe.
That's super useful, man. Come on, for the same reason that your watch is super useful.
Yeah.
And just imagine, you're not even thinking about the sensors that aren't on there yet. Just give it time. It's exciting.
Okay.
It's cool. I wanted a pair of Google glasses is what happened, and I didn't get one.
I know.
So,
I know.
Man.
Hey, man.
And then they went out of vogue, and I was like, oh dang, now I really can't get one.
Yeah, they had a mean nickname they'd call you if you wore one.
Yeah.
So like miss the. I do think that this is I do agree with The Verge that this is more what everybody kind of hoped the Google Glass would be. It's somewhat, it's not, doesn't look nearly as dorky. It's actually mostly it doesn't look nearly as dorky. I think that's the really big thing.
Yeah, they got the hipster look down, which I think is important. And I think that there's valuable things. Now, obviously, whatever framework and platform and things that they're planning on using makes a big deal. And I think the day Apple or Google comes out with something that, fully integrates with a phone, like game over. But
right, it'll be like what was that watch that you liked?
Oh, Pebble.
Yeah,
oh man,
Pebble.
That just hurts.
Where Pebble was impressive and dominant.
It was a great stopgap.
Yeah, up until the very moment that Google and Apple decided to get in the game,
which I think they knew. They knew it.
Yeah, I mean, if I could have started that company and rode that roller coaster, I would have loved it. No shame in it whatsoever. But
yeah. Now, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna give you a runner-up for my high.
Oh, okay.
I know. I'll go really, really quick. It's this product called Life Door, and essentially it'll shut a door for you, based on hearing an alarm go off, like a fire alarm or a smoke detector, I should say. It's not a fire alarm; it's a smoke detector. And I got corrected last week for saying that. So, and so the idea being, it hears your smoke detector's alarm beeping and it closes the doors. And it's for this super simple thing of closed doors tend to contain fires because it starves them of oxygen. They can't spread as easily. Well, actually, I just started managing a rental that they had a fire in the bathroom, and they were like, we randomly happened to close the door that morning and the building is still standing as a result. So that's actually a really great idea. I'm like, man, I should, this might be worth me investing in. That kind of like one of those just simple, it was made by a firefighter who was like, I felt like this was a really obvious product that no one had made yet. And yeah, it just sounds like it's really well done, where like it won't slam fingers and things like that.
Oh,
it just,
nice.
It's, yeah. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely.
Yeah. Safety first, man. That's what I'm about. All right. Time for the low. And I have a feeling there's a theme here.
Yeah, because I mean, you go first.
Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, this is awesome. It's the Foldimate, which I think they actually got a lot of pre-press, if I'm not mistaken, or I'm just antennas up, whatever. It's a machine that folds your laundry.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Doesn't that sound awesome? In theory, you're like, yes, I would love. Here's my dream. Okay, I would like to have taken my lovely clean laundry out of the dryer, dump it into a hopper, and then I don't even kind of care how much longer later. Like it could be an hour or two later. There's like a little basket underneath that I then pull out, and there's my clothes folded. Like, doesn't that sound amazing? Yeah. Anyways, I hate folding clothes. That's like the worst. Anyways, this little $1,000 machine. So, if you think about it, it's the same price as a pair of sunglasses. That's reasonable.
Sure.
It doesn't do what I described. So they're super excited because, they can now fold towels and pillowcases. So that's cool. But it can't fold, and I don't know why you would, but it can't fold your socks or your undergarments. So that's kind of weird. It also can't do baby clothes or bulky hoodies. So it could do part of your laundry. You just have to, instead of sorting by color, now you have to sort by type, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Anyways, so here's the best part. So the way that it works with these very specific things is it has I don't know, I want to use the word platen, but which is the right word. It has like a board, okay, and then it has clips on it, and you clip your piece of clothing to that, and then it sucks it in the machine and folds it, and it pops out the bottom. And then once it's done that, you then clip on another item. And then once it's done that, you then clip on the next item. Yeah, it folds one at a time. Oh. So you have to still get your shirt and grab it out of the pile and wrinkle it out and kind of get it properly oriented, which is like more than half the job already, I think.
Say, especially because you're talking about things that are rectangular. The rectangular ones are the easy ones. That's why this is ridiculous. I mean,
I just want throw my laundry in a hopper and figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I guess it technically folds your clothes, but like, I really feel like it's more like helping you fold your. It's just dumb. It's $1,000 machine that, by the way, I don't know how big this thing is, to be honest, because it has this picture of a towel, but I'm guessing it doesn't just sit on a tabletop.
So this thing is, it's funny because the article that I linked to specifically mentions this in this first one. It's a gigantic robot machine, costs $850 and can supposedly fold your clothes. The machine, which took up more space than a washing machine, might be worth it. You could dump a huge pile of laundry inside some chamber, your garments returned.
Thank you.
That type of machine is yet to be built. Yeah, so it's huge, and I
mean, I applaud the move the ball forward a couple of steps.
Is it a couple inches? Steps though? See, and this is the thing. It'd be interesting to see what they're doing to make it work. But it's like all of the different garments that you described are square. They're regular, and predictable.
Yeah.
That's like that's not. that's not what makes that. The act of actually folding clothes isn't why nobody has made a clothes folding robot. It is identifying and categorizing. That's the hard part. And their inability to like.
But I think I think we're gonna talk trends a little bit afterwards. And I think this is an example of a trend that we're seeing, which I think you're hitting on. Which what the heck? I'm just gonna say it. Like making bad robots is okay.
Yeah.
Like, we're cool with it. People buy it, right? Like, sure. Is it a cyber bubble? I don't know. Maybe it's an intellectual bubble. It's not a bubble. That's not the right word I'm looking for.
I would say,
but it's just like it's like, sure, let's make this. What if it doesn't work perfectly? Whatever. And maybe that's always been that way, and we just haven't paid attention because we're young enough. But like, I don't know. Were PCs when they first got started? Were they like, wow, there's like, was it? Whoa, you okay there?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Just over. You know, when like PCs first came out, and I'm sure there were a couple successes, and people were like, wow, yeah, like these PCs are kind of a thing. And then there were like, I'm going to say like 50,000. That's an over exaggeration. 50 different makers of PCs, and honestly, like 2 of them were good, and they ultimately became Apple and Microsoft. And everyone else, you were kind of like, geez, you're just shipping anything to ship something, huh? I get that same feeling with robots, where they're like, dude, robots are a thing. You could get funding for this. It's just software, hardware combined. We'll figure out the manufacturing in China. Done. Let's make something cool. I know it's not perfect, and it doesn't, it's not what we really want, but, it's better than what we had.
That is so clearly what's going on. I mean, it's just, there's so much of how hard can it be? We got microprocessors. We've got, we got.
Don't worry about your job yet. If you fold laundry in a hotel, you are secure.
Yeah. Well, and
I'm pretty certain this would actually take you longer if I'm understanding how this works.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, it definitely seems like that's the case. And yeah, there's no way that this wouldn't be.
It's actually increasing my cognitive load to fold laundry. That's the part that also bugs me.
Right. Yeah, and you can't stand in front of a TV and watch TV while doing it because it's a giant machine that makes a lot of noise.
I bet you. I was gonna say, I bet you it's not quiet.
Yeah, it's just so dumb.
I know. I love it. It's so bad. I'm not gonna buy one. I don't.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't tell that. Man.
I mean, like, I want to buy one. Maybe that's where I'm at. Right. I'm like, man, if I would buy one if it did what I wanted.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I'm
not saying it's not useless. Like, that would be super useful.
Well, I've actually quite frequently heard people use folding laundry as the quintessential example of, you think we've come so far because we can send space shuttle to the moon, but try to make a machine that folds laundry and nobody's even close. And there's a certain reality to it. But I think the bigger thing is that I think what's so tempting about it is that there's this sense that at some level, somebody is actually approaching the ability to do this in a reliable way. You get the feeling that if Google decided that there was money in this, they could get it done. Or if Microsoft
that's true.
I think that's why this is so tempting, is because there's machine vision stuff, there's robotics, there was robotic stuff, and it kind of feels like all the pieces are there to be able to do just that, dump it into a vat and have it come out. But the problem is that the people that can do it are sitting there going, if we were to do it, it'd cost $30,000 and there's absolutely no market for it. Yeah.
Or there's a part of me that's like, does the output look different than how we have been doing it? And like, what if the answer was like, put it all in hangers or something? I don't know. But
yeah, and
it's just interesting.
And
frustrating.
The other piece of this is that I could actually see the idea of, somebody could make a robot where, based off of a similar technology, where all you do is hang your towel, you clip your towels. You just clip towel, different sizes.
You mean like a clothesline?
Yeah. Well, and then what it does is it just sort of, and on that clothesline, it just runs them into like a conveyor belt. It runs it in the machine, and then it comes out the other side of the machine.
Yeah.
And
okay.
See this sort of a situation where, like,
I might deal with that. Yeah.
You see, Well, you could see in a situation where in a hotel where there are highly like the type of laundry that they do all the time is that sort of regular rectangular one, and with a big enough space, and you could see how one person doing that might replace 3 people doing that, and the ROI on the investment on the robot would make sense. But the problem is that this is the consumer electronics show, and these are meant for consumers. These are meant for homes, and this seems ridiculous. It's so far from.
So B for effort, but ultimately no.
Geez, I think that was overly nice.
No, it's like effort in the sense that they're attacking a problem I'm interested in.
Okay, well.
Execution. Failure there. I mean, that's like, hey, but you know what? It probably worked. So that's a step above some other demos that we had in LG.
Oh, jeez, I know.
CES itself just losing power. Come on.
Yeah, Google had to shut down their entire thing because it turned out it was going to rain, and they didn't waterproof any of their outdoor exhibit.
Oh,
yeah, they had to shut the whole thing down. It's unsafe.
So what's your low?
Well, honestly, okay. It's funny. I was gonna echo the sentiments of this article written by Taylor Lorenz, which is CES is full of robots and machines that don't work, or useless robots and machines that don't work rather. And her first example is the self-folding robot, and I think it's symbolic of a lot of examples. The Harrier Smart Mirror caught my eye as I stepped into the central hall of the convention center. Promised to help me dress by recommending outfits for travel, work, or a date. I could also get detailed washing instructions for different garments and track where it was sitting in my closet. That seems amazing. Intrigued, I asked how it would know so much about all my clothes. Do I dump all my laundry into a big scanner? I asked naively. The cheery brand ambassador laughed. The mirror gets all this information from RFID chips in the clothing, which all clothes will come with in the future. I asked
your clothes.
Yeah, I asked how this product will help somebody who buys their clothes in the year 2018 a not insubstantial amount of sweaters from college. Her face dropped and she explained, for the time being, I would have to manually enter all the information by hand by tagging every item in the wardrobe. The mirror also plays workout videos, she said as I walked away.
Workout videos. Yeah. Manually enter it. Man, that's tough.
Yeah, one companion bot called Lubot can supposedly be controlled with your mind. It can even read a child's facial expression, the man at the booth told me. But in order for it to work, the user has to wear an uncomfortable metal headband. It was just so dumb. Drone cages were set up all over the South Hall. One drone whizzed by in a loud voice over the speaker. Amigo drone, it's your friend. Everywhere you go. I saw
friend. It's drone. It's your friend.
I saw another one, this drives me crazy. It's like it's an AR drone. It's a little drone. You see it, it flies up, and you get like a little, and it does like the heads up thing where you put the thing on, you can see through the eyes. Of the drone, and then there's like an AR world overlaid over it that you can
because that itself isn't cool enough. Okay,
yeah, exactly. Well, I was showing it to a friend. They're like, "Yeah, but why?" And I was like, "The but why is easy to explain. What everybody really wants is to put a handgun on a drone and shoot other drones in the sky. But that is super illegal. I mean, that's super illegal to do in any context. And so this is people trying to get you excited about that idea and draft off of that. But when you actually look at the application of it, it's dumb. And you kind of get to that point where you're like,
is it like laser tag? Kind of like, is that? I don't know.
If it were laser tag, it would be really cool. But the example that it might be cool. But the example that they showed was literally like you're hovering there and there are virtual bad guys that you're shooting at with a virtual.
Why don't you just play a video game?
That's exactly the question that everybody's asking. Like, what is the point of this? It's a video game with the added complication of a drone that can fall out of the sky.
Yeah, that could hurt somebody. Yeah.
It's just so. And so the low light of CES is sort of this. Yeah, it's the.
I go with AR drones. That sounds pretty waste of energy
low.
There.
Yeah. Pretty low.
Niche
Frustrating.
market become more niche.
Before we get into our roundup thoughts, James, I think we should do our ad.
Oh yeah.
This episode is brought to you by pens. In a more abstract sort of way, because, technically we're not using pens for any of this, but pens had to be involved at some point in the history of this to get us here. So, go and buy a pen. They're very cheap. They'll last for a while, especially if you use them infrequently.
And technology is relative.
It's
relative to a pencil. Pretty high tech.
It's quite, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's permanent, right? I mean, like significant. I would say almost in many ways more. Yeah. It's more significant than a pencil. Yeah. I mean, unless you're in space, in which case pencils win. But if you got gravity, pens are pretty nice.
It's true. Yeah. So, what is your?
We wanted to finish with just kind of some even bigger trends than those ones, and mine, voice. I'm slightly sick, so my personal voice
is
a little bit lower, and it's right in that range that's awesome when singing in church. You could just get a little bassier in there.
Gotcha, for sure.
It half an octave. Yeah, it was
perfect.
It was fun. Anyways, voice tended to dominate the show, and I know and specifically what I want to say is it was Alexa. Don't say anything for a little bit now. I gotta wait for the blue light. Yeah, all right, you got me. Dang it. And Google, the assistant. And most notably, not Apple, which some people have pointed out, clearly their indirect presence has been fading from CES. It really is all about all right, how do we get Amazon and Google on board? And then the one that was also missing was Cortana. Interestingly, someone asked Microsoft, because they have a booth there. They're like, hey, how come you guys aren't one of the two? And they're like, oh, we're playing the long game. Think about it, we're installing all our machines and we got all these partnerships, and you can use Cortana to turn on light switches, and you can do all the basic home stuff from pretty much any Windows PC. Apparently, you just got to set it up. I don't know if it's cross, it's just I don't know. I just don't know enough about it, which is probably their number one problem. And despite the fact that I guess I have it on my laptop.
Yeah,
I use it for searching for files, right? The Finder, search. Apparently I can use it to turn off my lights. So I should look into that now that I learned that this week, and which is kind of funny. And so I'm still kind of someone who is in a distant last place would say, yeah, we're playing the long game.
Yeah. You know what my problem
is? Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's still early in the fourth.
What was it? Somebody pulled it off last second today, didn't they? I saw some tweet about that. Their probability of winning went from
the
0 to 100. Vikings, was that it?
Yeah, the 7 seconds left in the game. I didn't actually watch the play, but my roommates were watching.
I have not seen it, but apparently the little chart that shows the time of the game and then the percentage of chance of winning.
Yeah,
for the Vikings, it had slowly been headed down to 0, and then all of a sudden it looked like an earthquake went off on the Richter graph.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. But
anyways. Why did I say that?
I don't know.
I don't even remember.
Top topic.
Oh, yeah. Because Microsoft is saying 4 quarters, we're playing a long game. We're going to win it in the end. Which it works that way.
Which honestly, yeah, one of the big things that you and I have said for years, and this is not always true, and sometimes I say this and people look at me and scoff. Oftentimes it's because they are not in a favorable light when I describe this, but I'm a big believer that most markets can really only support 2 major competitors.
Yeah,
there's 2 that are
Ford and GM.
Yeah, Ford and GM, and then there's other people that are successful, good businesses, but there's 2 dominant players. The iPhone and Android, for example, the Sony PlayStation and the Xbox.
It seems to be especially true in tech.
Yes, and
for commodities. Our fine. You can have a lot, but if there's any sort of premium or like features seem to matter, yeah, you kind of get 2.
Yeah, and it's so
with maybe a distant third and fourth.
It's so clearly Amazon and Google, and although I actually agree that the core technology, the impressive part, that the important part is the thing that you're talking to, is the artificial intelligence, with which by all accounts Microsoft has got Cortana's pretty smart, but it's the ambient computing. It's the it's the fact that these assistants have to work without a screen is what makes them important, and that's what that differentiator between Siri and Microsoft is just, or Cortana. I don't know. It's just so clearly, that was such a big deal this year, and this is going to be we are. You know what happened this year, James? We're going to look back at this as the same as when Steve Ballmer was challenged about the iPhone, and he did his little thing about how Windows phones got in the hand of all sorts of computers. It's a good productivity app. It's got a keyboard. We like our strategy. We like it a lot. I mean, I think Apple is doing that right now.
Oh, yes.
And we are going to watch this is it. This is actually why I wanted it to be VR. I wanted it to be AR. I'm pretty sure it's this. This is what the next decade is going to be about. And the companies that dominate in their ability to perform here. And the thing is that Google has been waiting for this moment, because it's just Google search, which is, it's the computer from.
Oh yeah, they've been working on it since they had the phone number.
Yeah, exactly. All of their vision has been pointing towards this particular, nexus of technology. So they're totally ready for it. Amazon somehow just dark horsed in underneath everybody. And I think Apple's in for a bad way. But you
know what? I agree. So there you go. That's our high. That's our low. That's what we saw as kind of the big moment, if you will, the theme. So thanks for listening. We really do appreciate it. You can check out all the links. We got a couple other stories we'll throw in there too if you've got some free time.
Yeah.
Like we'll talk about the Vive Pro and some other things. Nope, that'll be the other thing we add. And
definitely let us know though if you agree or disagree, pros, cons.
Yeah. What was your favorite announcement from CES? What was your high or your low?
Yeah.
We would love to know that. And you can either comment at furlobros.com/322 or on our Facebook page or wherever. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play. And we want to say thank you to our contributors. And so the first one is Taylor Lorenz from the Daily Beast, and Nick Stat, Devin Coldway, and it's kind of weird. The way Dig does it, they don't give authors credit, which I think is a shame. They should.
Yeah.
It just goes, by Dig. We're this amorphous organization. And also by Patrick Lucas Austin. And then a little bit from Nate Levy and Ben Bajarin. He's got a good name. And so we also want to say that this podcast is sponsored by listeners just like you and pens. You can write that down. So with that, I am James Furlo, and my consumer of electronic shows brother is Matthew Furlo, and we will talk next time.